Hey everybody, welcome back to the MountainGeek Podcast. I'm Hunter Davenport.
And I'm Brian Bradley.
And we have a fresh new episode here for you. First off, we took a week off because I was deathly sick. Like, I was knocking on death's door.
I passed him on Friday. Friday he was like, we can't do the podcast.
We can't do the podcast.
And then I saw him and I understood why.
I was like, I had no voice. Like, we had like a few days to do it before it was due, and like, it was
he never
nothing.
recovered.
It was, I just got better like 4 days ago. So
he couldn't talk, and I didn't want to be in a room with him. A small room. I'm over here chugging vitamins.
But in the time that we haven't done a podcast, some major storms have hit the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane Harvey was before the week where I got sick, and Hurricane Irma hit Florida and a lot of the eastern coast on this week.
Harvey was hitting us like real bad, and we were sending out all our relief, and then there's another one on the way.
Yeah, it was already Category 5 before it even made landfall in the Caribbean. I mean, it was awful. I mean. It was so bad that like everybody's seen the pictures in Houston, like because it was really strange because like it was a huge disaster. I mean, like it displaced more people and did like as much damage as Hurricane Katrina did, but like where they didn't have like artificial levee, like it all drained out like within like 4 days, and it was like a picture. There was a side by side I saw of like an interstate overchange, and it was like one picture was like here, and then like 3 days later, and like cars were driving on it. It was like
it's Florida, so it's not their first rodeo.
This was in Texas.
Oh, it
Irma,
was.
Yeah, Irma actually it blew down a bunch of stuff. It didn't really flood anything. Yeah. I mean, but it was such ripping, and like it completely annihilated an island of the Caribbean. Barbuda, I think is what it was called. It's gone now. There's no more island. Of course, it actually reduced to a Category 4 by the time it even got to Florida, and by the time it went halfway up Florida, it was already weakening. And Jose, remember the one that was right behind Irma? It actually Irma was like displaced so much air that it became a tropical depression before it even made landfall, and wasn't bad at all.
Huh.
I mean, like it was like, how do you put out a fire? You start a bigger fire next to it.
Yeah.
It was just, and our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people displaced by Hurricane Irma. If any of our listeners know anybody, or if you were displaced by some of these hurricanes, we hope everyone's doing okay, and we hope your pets are okay. Yeah. I saw a lot of people were volunteering a lot of their time just going around like saving animals.
Yeah, because people leave.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they just leave them, and a lot of times they tell people just like turn your pets loose. Because they'll like get to safety.
Yeah, the pets know to leave. It's the people that are
they'll like get to safety, but like
I don't know how my house.
I'm gonna stay here in my land.
My house is made of pretty thick wood. I don't think the storm can knock it over.
No, not this time.
Not again.
Not again. But I was seeing all these pictures on like Instagram and stuff of like people in like bass boats full of like cats and dogs and stuff. It's just like, we're going to save you.
We're leaving the people.
Oh my god, dogs! Sorry,
we have to throw off 2 dogs to save 1 person. It's not happening.
It's not worth it.
You have kids; they're about the same size. We
can do the kids. We can. Okay, and joking aside, we hope everyone is doing okay. We mourn the lives lost. But back to your regularly scheduled programming. First up, we'll talk about a game that we both like.
Right.
Overwatch is cracking down. Is cracking the Nerf hammer down on its players.
Let's
go around. Yeah. Of course, it's no secret that any game that gets huge is going to get like its share of toxic players and players that just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, like throwers and competitive matches and stuff. The report function has been available on PC for a very long time now, and it's recently come to console. And it's helped out a lot. I think they released a developer update where game director Jeff Kaplan said something to the effect of like they'd taken disciplinary action against like 400,000 something players.
Oh wow!
And it was the report functions that initially let them on to the terrible behavior. It was like 300,000 something. So over a third of it was over 2/3 of it was even close to 3/4 was due to players letting them know about what was going on.
Yeah, so they listen to your feedback.
Yeah, and
some companies care, some don't. But.
Yeah, that's something Overwatch has been really good with. Looking at you, Ubisoft, but they Overwatch and Blizzard have been really good with support for this game, and they're actually cracking down on people who are just who are exhibiting bad behavior. And the developer update I was talking about, he was just like, Jeff was basically like pleading with the players, just like, be nice, be respectful.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have to tell you all.
It is a game, and it's a game with millions of players. If you cheat and you get banned, they're not going to miss you. They don't miss the 400,000. Is it 400,000?
400,000 they have taken disciplinary action against. Either a temporary ban or a permanent ban.
Like, if you're not having fun with it, don't play.
I mean, if you feel like you have to ruin someone else's day to have a good day yourself, what's the point?
You can get a career doing that. You don't have to do it in Overwatch.
You don't have to volunteer your time. You can actually work for the IRS or something. But also in Overwatch news, in amidst all this,
good news, light in the dark.
Jeff actually did an interview with Kotaku, I think it was, where they asked him about new heroes. They always do. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yes, we actually do have a new hero on the way. They're really cool, and they're someone you won't expect.
That's it. That's an excellent Jeff Kaplan impression, actually.
Something you won't expect. Okay. I get he can't. I get he can't say a lot, but like, come on.
I've got 200 words left, man. Like, you can't give me a little bit more.
I'm interviewing you. Give me something.
Yeah, you flew out here.
This is for you. What are you doing? Like, but I mean, so far, what are the heroes that have been released so far?
There's Ana Sombra.
Ana was the first one, and she came out like right around Overwatch came out in like May of 2016.
I think it's Ana Sombra, Orisa, and Doomfist.
And Orisa and Doomfist sort of, their stories kind of coincide.
Yeah.
Because Orisa was built to counteract Doomfist. And
yeah.
Doomfist literally punched his way out of prison.
And then he got the gauntlet.
And then he got the Doomfist gauntlet. Well, I mean, and like, a lot of people complain about Doomfist being overpowered. And, some they really haven't done much to Sombra. I figure, and they got the big sledgehammer nerf. They did a lot of little things to Orisa, and they're going to apparently nerf Doomfist. But Sombra's one that they haven't done much to, and that I don't think they're going to do much to. Like, do you think she's balanced?
Yeah, I think she's a stealth hero, and so she has a lot of offensive capabilities. She's not good with crowds.
Yeah,
and she has this dynamic that you have to go between sneaking off on your own and using your ult when you're with your entire team, because if you EMP a bunch of people, they can't use their specials, but they can still just beat you up.
Yeah, pretty much all they can do is use their primary fire.
Mm-hmm. So I play Sombra a little bit. I usually play her in one-on-ones when it gives you the option between her and some snipers.
Yeah, just like,
and so
not today.
She is fun. I have fun with her, and I don't really hate. There's a character in Overwatch that I hate, but we're trying to avoid controversy.
Who might that be there, Brian?
I don't
say it. One word.
Say it, and we'll just bleep it out. It also starts with B, like bleep does. So what's the next thing?
Okay, all right. Brian is very staunch against not. Okay, all right, we're gonna go.
It's Bastion. No one likes Bastion.
Changing gears to watchable, consumable programming. Netflix. I mean, we've had 3 episodes so far. And
Netflix is good.
We mentioned something about Netflix in just about every episode. Netflix or Hulu, either one. I actually saw a stat this morning that I felt compelled to include. Netflix this year, what they have spent and what they expect to spend by the end of the year, the end of the fiscal year, is $6 billion with a B. $6 billion they are planned to spend by the end of 2017
on their own original programming.
On original programming.
I actually watched the last episode of Defenders today.
Oh, you finished it?
Okay. It's really short, but it's not.
Yeah,
bad.
it's only 6 episodes, right?
8.
It's
not bad at all. It's really not.
It's good.
Yeah.
Do they resolve everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
No cliffhanger for some more.
There's going to be more, but they resolve everything.
Yeah.
Which is like the best combination is when you're like satisfied with an ending, but they're still going to make more anyways.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I understand cliffhangers, but I think
satisfying endings are something that I feel like there's a lack of nowadays.
Yeah,
honestly, because like so many shows rely on cliffhangers, Walking Dead, to bring people back. That they really take the joy out of watching television, which is the satisfying ending. They they completely ignore it a lot.
You never know. Sometimes, like Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had a big cliffhanger ending where they built up his girlfriend the whole movie and they killed her, and they're like, "It's okay, we're gonna start our own expanded universe." And then they didn't, and they canceled that. And they rebooted him again. So basically, the legacy of those two movies, which have like amazing special effects and like a lot of love put into them, was this chick died. That was like the end. That was what we all worked for. Was Gwen Stacy's dad saying, "Don't go near my daughter, you'll kill her."
And now Spider-Man's in the MCU, and
and younger
and younger, and what a lot of people are calling better. Spider-Man: Homecoming. I actually haven't seen that. Tell us about it. It's been out for a few months now. You don't have to worry about spoilers.
I don't need to spoil it.
Okay.
Like. I really enjoy the villain. I can't remember the name of the actor, but he does a great job. Great villains are like
Vulture, right?
Yeah,
yeah. I like Vulture.
But yeah, it's a lot of good things. I'm not big on high school stuff because I've seen like
we went through high school and
it's not relatable. It wasn't then. But Spider-Man's always been like a really young superhero. And I've got a brother who's 15. And Spider-Man is basically like, what if my 15-year-old brother got superpowers? And there were Avengers in the world. He was like, cool. Because like, Spider-Man is known for being like really smart-mouthy. But he's actually...
That's why him and Deadpool team up a lot.
He's actually not. He's really smart. But Spider-Man says a lot of quips. But it's because he never shuts up. Because he's a teenager. And he's just he's just so happy that he's a superhero.
yeah.
That every one of Spider-Man's villains has told him to shut up at some point.
Shut up!
Some of his allies.
Yeah.
I think Punisher shot him one time because he wouldn't stop talking.
For real?
For real.
In a comic?
Like the Punisher needs a reason.
To shoot someone. We all know the Punisher needs no reason to shoot. Speaking of.
Guess what?
Guess what,
After
ladies and
the
gentlemen?
Defenders comes Marvel's... what I believe is Marvel's next Netflix series, which will be The Punisher.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. That is good stuff.
Absolutely
good stuff.
Hunter's excited.
Daredevil Season 2 is the best season of Daredevil, and it's because of Frank Castle. I'll tell you that. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. But Punisher, for those of you who don't know, is just a superhero? Could you say... He's definitely a gun-toting vigilante of the Marvel Universe.
He's an anti-hero, but that doesn't really do it justice.
Yeah.
He's basically a villain that only kills villains.
I mean, he's a very vengeful person. He was in the army, and now he's just like...
None of the other superheroes like him.
He goes after bad guys to kill them.
Like Daredevil, Captain America, basically everyone he's teamed up with disapproves of his methods, and...
all those lawful good guys.
Try to stop him. Like, even some of the chaotic ones. Yeah. Like Frank Castle is just too much for any superhero to abide by.
And that's something... do you know when it's coming?
I have no idea.
I mean, if it's coming by the end of the year, that's going to add to that $6 billion budget they have. They said they were going to cut down, though. I read in the rest of the article.
Well, they kind of got their foot in the door now, so that's understandable.
I mean, because they have. I've noticed like they've got like 4 or 5 different Netflix originals. You know, if you go on Netflix and you scroll through the little things.
Yeah, they got their own category for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's they'll have the little red Netflix logo there in the little corner to show you that it's either exclusive or original content, and it's most of their stuff, especially if you look on like trending stuff. I mean, there's that 70s show, but like a lot of their stuff on trending is their own stuff, like Peaky Blinders, that new show Disjointed. That's actually really funny. It's about an old woman who's like an old hippie, and she moves to California and starts her own like marijuana growing business.
Okay.
And it's like, because she's like lived through this all of her life, and like she works with a bunch of younger kids. It's really funny. It's a comedy. It's like a sitcom, you know, that the singular angled camera angle, you know, but it's really good. But the Netflix programming thing, they said they're going to cut back on it, but do you think that means less programming in the future from Netflix?
I would hope so. Actually,
why is that?
Because if they're doing the same amount of programming and they're cutting back, that means they're putting less into it. So I would rather them keep the
Make less
level
shows.
of quality that we've seen so far.
Because I remember seeing an article not too long ago where Netflix was supposedly going broke or something. Like they were like completely out of money or something.
That might have just been clickbait or something.
Maybe. But I mean, it was like it looked real. I mean, because you can tell clickbait most of the time.
Yeah,
it's usually,
Netflix has no money, and you won't believe why.
You won't believe what happens next will shock you, Brian. Watch till the end, Brian. You gotta watch till the end.
I didn't.
This video, you gotta watch till the end.
I did not. My dad probably has.
And Brian, you're part of the problem.
Oh. What happens next will shock you.
Let's move on before we get on another tangent. Changing gears, the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, you were telling us about it. There 2 episodes ago, I think.
Actually, just got it back from my brother today.
You got it back?
He was very sad. I left it with him because I didn't need that kind of distraction.
Yeah, once again, for another month, the Switch is the best-selling console. It's because it's the newest, I would assume.
Yeah, it's still pretty new, and it's still pretty hard to find.
The reason that's significant at all is because when the Wii U came out, it like plummeted. Like,
the
next month the PS4 was selling more than it was.
If they came out with a PlayStation 5 in the amount of time since the PlayStation 4 that the Switch came out after the Wii U, it would be really unfair and uncalled for.
Yeah.
And I was talking to some of our friends because they all live together and they have like 4 or 5 PlayStations.
Yeah, like 3 computers.
And I mentioned one of them. He was like, "Did you hear about the PlayStation 5?" And I was like, "No, they just had that as an option whenever you could pre-order Destiny 2." Was it? Yeah, you were the one that showed me that.
What, me? I've never heard of the PS5.
When there was like the pre-ordering for Destiny 2, and one of the options
a long time ago.
Yeah,
I thought that was like a typo or something.
I don't know. So like they may be planning.
So this is a big cover up by Sony. Like.
But yeah, it had like the PlayStation 5 as one of the options you could pre-order it for. And like obviously that wasn't the case, but there might be talk of it if they're already planning on porting some of the PS4 games to it. Like if it's about to come to the end but they want to keep their game going, like Destiny 2 probably would.
Yeah. Just a little tangent on Destiny 2.
We haven't talked about Destiny 2 on here, so go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Destiny 2 is like I haven't played it personally, but my girlfriend has played it and I've watched her, and
several people.
Everyone was so hyped for the first Destiny, including me, and I got it. And about 2 weeks playing it, I just got over it. Like, because I beat the game, and it just turned out to be the same thing over and over and over again. And
is it an MMO?
I mean, there's a lot of players online, but like, not really.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like. It's sort of like it's one of those borderline things. It's not like the Division was. See, I was expecting the Division to kind of be like Destiny. If so, I would have loved it. But the Division was an MMO where you grind and then you find stuff. Maybe it's random drops and stuff. Blah blah blah. It's like this is not
grinding in my MMO.
Ooh. And like that's just not my scene.
You were the chosen one.
You do have to grind in Destiny a bit, but it's
grinding
it's
can be fun.
It's just a bit different. Yeah, because like grinding can be fun if it's rewarding. But a lot of the times in MMOs it isn't, because MMOs' main goal is they want you to play a lot. I mean, they want you to play pretty much their game exclusively.
Mm-hmm. Fire Emblem, for example, has this grinding feature where if you're in a battle that you're a little bit over leveled for, like if you're just grinding to get up a little bit before you go to the next area, you can turn on auto, and it's like playing chess, with the pieces will move themselves and they'll win and they'll gain experience, and then you can move on if your grinding's not your thing, which it's not for me.
Wait, it'll win automatically? Why don't you just play the
it
whole
doesn't
game
win
like that?
It doesn't win automatically, it just lets your pieces move. So like you still risk somebody dying, but if you're a little bit over leveled and you just want to grind some more.
Oh, okay.
Or you're looking for an item or something, like a drop. And I really like that, because you like click on it and the main unit goes charge and everyone so yeah, there are fun ways to grind, and sometimes I don't do it just because it's fun to play. your game is fun to play. Grinding isn't as much of a chore, but you still have to watch out for it.
Right. And like, but I feel like, especially with their PvP, I mean, Destiny's kind of more of a traditional shooter, and their co-op stuff is fantastic. And their first raid dropped. I don't remember if you remember the first raid was Vaulted Glass in Destiny, and it took like hours to beat, like because like you kept dying at various checkpoints, and like the fastest time I've seen for someone beating this most recent raid in Destiny 2 is 9 hours. I'm sure someone's got to like 5 or 6 at this point, but like the first time I saw for someone beating it was 9 hours. I mean, and that's like how difficult like the Destiny stuff is. But like I was saying, Destiny 2, it really feels finished. Like when the first Destiny came out, you played to a certain point, and nothing was ever explained in the story. like when they were promoting the game, it was all about you write your own story and blah 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 blah. But nothing ever really happened. You went here, you went to different planets to maybe find out something about something, but it turns out you had to find out something about something else to find out about something, and none of the pieces ever connected. But in Destiny 2, you have one clear goal, and that's to take back Earth. Mm-hmm. And everything you're doing is helping you take back Earth. And it's every time you complete a mission, you're one step closer to your goal, and that's something that is like it's really rewarding. And then when you finally beat the game, it shows you all the raids, all the missions, all the big missions that you've ever done in Destiny 1 and 2, and who you beat them with.
Oh wow!
I was like, because I was like choked up because because I said I haven't played it, but my girlfriend was going through, and one of the missions I was in it, and I was like.
Her game knew about you.
Yeah, it was like it's
the sense of fame.
Using their like
which is hard to get.
The whole first game was about like becoming a legend, and Destiny 2 really makes you feel that. It really does make you feel like a legend. It really makes you feel like your efforts matter, and the first game didn't. Mm-hmm. Like in
Elder Scrolls Online was like that. It did it was like it didn't do that. It was like you're the chosen one, but also all
the other 13 million people who play are also chosen.
And so like you would beat a really hard boss, and then it would immediately come back, and more people would go in. It was like a conveyor belt, or something.
Which is the way a lot of MMOs are. Mm-hmm. But you asked me if Destiny was an MMO, and I can't really answer that.
Yeah.
In some ways, yes, but in other ways, no.
I've played games where, like, there are other players around, but they don't interfere with
right. And now, it goes to say, if a game is too many genres, you're not going to make anybody happy. But I really feel like Destiny 2 really is a great hybrid for all of what it encompasses. Because it has the PvP of, like, Call of Duty, that aspect, and it's really fun. They've the Crucible is what they call it. They've really kind of reinvented it, and it's really fresh. It's really fun, and they already have a bunch of the DLC set out for it. And if it's as complete as the game of Destiny is, then it's going to be what Destiny the first game was trying to be. Mm-hmm. I feel like the Bungie made Destiny and they learned from it. Like the worst thing a game company can do is make a game and people don't like it, and then they do the exact same thing over again, which is what Call of Duty was doing for a really long time, mm-hmm. and what they still are kind of doing. But like, you make a game and you learn from it, and that is exactly what Bungie has done with Destiny 2, because it is just a very, very good game that really gets you into it, and really, it's like. It's hard to describe. It's honestly exactly what they were going for and exactly what you expect. I mean, it definitely lives up to the hype. I'll stop there because I've rambled for quite some time now.
I know Destiny is the meat of this podcast.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't set out to be.
I feel like Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to be like that because Battlefront 1,
it was good.
It was a great game, but it just wasn't very much of a game. Much content.
Is that coming out in November?
I don't know. I imagine it's probably coming out sometime this holiday because Star Wars comes out.
Oh, around Christmas.
Yeah, Episode 8.
Oh, speaking of Episode 8, they released promo images.
They released some promo images
for this morning, like sort of like posters. What was the one that caught your eye? The one with Luke?
Yeah, I believe so. Where like
he saw it and he's like, whoa, and it was
Star Wars. Just
like new wardrobe. It was kind of like like, hey, here's what this.
All
is
the characters have grown. It's not like Episode 7 Part 2. It's Episode 8.
Yeah,
and
the Last Jedi.
You know what I mean?
Who's the Last Jedi? We don't know.
It's Luke. Luke's the Last Jedi.
Yeah. Why? What makes you say that?
Because he's like, the Jedi must come to an end.
No.
So Luke,
please no.
Luke is gonna kill himself.
No.
He's just gonna.
No. But
you're actually talking to someone who doesn't even think Han Solo is dead.
The Star Wars conspiracy theorist,
Disney
extraordinaire, Brian James Bradley.
Disney never kills anyone.
The promo images look super cool, and and everybody can't wait to see the new episode.
All right, so what's next?
What's next, my friend? We're getting a little close on time, so it's time for
the pick of the week.
It is time for pick of the week. Yes, we're gonna. I know my timekeeping there.
All right.
Okay. It's not pick of the week. I'm gonna reverse the drum roll. What did you want to talk about?
There's actually a Metroid. Metroid: The Samus Returns actually came out 2 days ago.
It's a new side-scrolling.
So 3 days from when this will come up.
Yeah.
And it's that remake, and there's been some backlash on Twitter. The game, nothing about the game, just that someone worked on a remake for 10 years, and they're calling it a remake of the remake was called Another Metroid 2 Remake because they weren't the first person to try it, but they got the farthest before Nintendo pulled the plug on it.
Yeah.
So people are calling this Another Metroid 2 Remake.
An officially licensed product.
But Sega, which I'm not a huge fan of, there's really nothing to be a fan of with Sega these days.
Not anymore.
There is a high-definition remake of Sonic 2, which is people that like Sonic 2. And this one is remade in HD. It's got a lot of animations, a lot of polish. It's by the fans for the fans. It even that's what it says. And it comes out September 30th. And the reason I mention it is contrary to Nintendo, who still has a good market and a lot of games. Sega is always really upbeat about what their fans want. Sonic Mania was made by someone who wanted to port the game to the iPhone and sell it. So Sega, because they were making money off it, Sega was like, no, but maybe come in and we'll make a new game together.
Yeah.
And that's what Sonic Mania did, which is the highest rated Sonic game in 15 years. And it is fun. My brother had my Switch for 2 weeks and I kind of missed it. And I've never been a fan of 2D Sonic games. Maybe 3 3D Sonic games, just pure nostalgia. It's not even that they were good. And so it's coming out on September 30th, and you can look that up if you think you'd be interested. I'm sure it's for PC. But now it's time for...
now it's time for the Pick of the Week. Pick of the Week. My friend, what is your Pick of the Week?
Well, I just did a Sonic thing. You want to go first?
Oh, sure. My Pick of the Week this week is the new South Park season.
Oh, yeah.
It aired last Wednesday, and Randy is learning what it means to be a white person this season. And being a white person to him means renovating houses that aren't even his.
Building porches.
Building porches. It's classic South Park. I mean, South Park has really hit it out of the park with their last 3 seasons. The last 2 we've had the joy of reviewing here on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and it's another banger, folks. It looks like it's going to be another great season. The last 2 have kind of funny. Oh my God, what is this? This is then everything starts to all the arcs come together at a certain point, and then they all branch off again.
That's pretty deep for South Park.
Exactly. South Park started out as a.
We want to see how fast we can make a whole TV episode.
Yeah, and
it can be about butts. We don't care.
Yeah, it's in fact aliens sticking things in the fat kid's butt. It went from that to having complex storylines that branch out over an entire season, and it's sometimes over more than one season.
The South Park arc.
Yeah, the
story arc.
They started making money, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone are intelligent individuals, so They started doing what they wanted with it, and it turned into something amazing. You know, it only takes a week to make a South Park episode from scratch.
Yeah, from nothing.
It takes 2 days to do the voice acting. Over those 2 days, it takes 4 days to do all the animation. 2 days to sync and 1 day to put. Actually, 6 days because they don't work on Sunday.
Yeah,
and it airs the whatever.
Not because they're religious. But.
Yeah, but that's just the weekend, and they can make an entire South Park from nothing in a week. Yeah,
that's how a lot of funnies do it, especially the ones you see online, is they just have the characters, and they'll paste the characters in, and then they'll just change things. And that's a super... I've looked into that.
That blew my mind, because, when we were kids, we would see all those, inside Nick things about, it takes 6 months, 8 months to make an episode of SpongeBob.
Well, here's me drawing one of the characters, and it takes them 45 minutes.
And that's why, they were doing South Park during the election last year.
Yeah.
And they were hanging on the election results to continue with the series. Because when Trump won, Garrison was supposed to be not Mr. Garrison. Yeah, it was Mr. Yeah, it was Mr. Garrison.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was Mr. Garrison. He was like Trump. He he painted his face orange and he was just sitting there what do I do? I've won, but what do I do now? Which they were thinking that's what Trump was doing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because that happened. The election happened, and then they made it. Then they made it and aired it the next week.
It was their podcast.
But okay, I've spoken enough. Watch new South Park. If you don't have TV, if you do have Hulu, it's airing there the next day.
All right.
Comedy Central, what it airs on. Okay, go ahead.
My pick of the week is something that's never been talked about on the podcast before. It's a website.
Oh.
I tried out streaming. Not this week, but last week. Actually, streaming artwork.
Oh yeah,
so if you're a artwork or a gamer, and even if for some reason you don't want to use Twitch, which is the brand name in streaming, Picardo, Pic.
Picard, Captain John.
Picardo.
Oh, yeah, Picardo.
Use your phonics. Is a really easy way, but it's made for artists. It's made if you draw digitally, or you can just screen capture and put it right on there. And it took me maybe 25 minutes to figure it out. And it's pretty reliable. It's as reliable as your internet connection. So I waited until I came back to school to try it. But there's really not much to say. I know that's kind of a small demographic, but if you draw and you've ever wanted to thought about streaming,
or watch the processes of people that you like.
Yeah, and there's lots of artists on there. All the artists that I follow usually either stream on Twitch or Picardo.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to make it long and drawn out. That's basically all it is. It's pretty simple.
Okay, folks. Thank you for joining us for another episode. This has been the MountainGeek Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MountainGeekP. And on Facebook at the MountainGeek Podcast on Facebook. We post weekly, except for last week. Sorry, folks.
Unless we're dying.
And we post updates. And don't forget to either DM us on Twitter or PM us on Facebook. Anything you want us to talk about, had any questions about something we said on the show, we're always active on there. So, all right, you folks have a great week. We'll see you next time.